Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books, and today I'm going to talk about my two most recent reads and the morning I've had, you guys. I don't know what happened. I did all my morning stuff, like my morning routine, and I had prepared my breakfast. I was going out in here with my breakfast, like a bowl of cereal and a cup of tea. I'm putting the cereal down, I'm putting the tea down, and all of a sudden it's like everything comes to life and just whoosh. So a whole cup of tea, you know, like it just filled the table that was not empty of stuff, just so you know. So there was a lot of stuff on the table, paper stuff and electronics, and then the floor, there was so much tea on the floor, and of course I had honey in my tea. So it was just a big mess, and I got tea on myself, so like scalding hot tea onto myself. So I was just, for a few seconds I was like, where do I begin? I did sort it out eventually. It took half an hour, and surprisingly my bowl of cereal were almost fine. It had just like, the spoon had just poof some of it. So there was some I used like oat gurt on the sofa, so I had to clean the sofa, and then on me, and then I stepped in it, and it was just a mess. But I did fix it. It was just the weirdest half hour of my life for a very long time. I just stood there afterwards like, what happened? And then I go into the bathroom because I needed to return something that I used to clean the couch. And when I was closed the door in like the little closet in the bathroom, I almost tipped a bunch of stuff over again. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna not move. So it was the weirdest morning. And of course my oat gurt were like room temperature by the end of it, and it wasn't my last, but it was almost my last before I have to go buy new, and I don't want to have to go to buy new before tomorrow. So I was just like, I'm just gonna eat this. It tasted really weird. Like anything with oats, I would like really hot or really cold, not somewhere in between. It did not taste great. So I sat here and watched. I'm in the middle of Becky and the Book's latest video, and I sat here. So yeah, my morning wasn't fun, but now I'm here and I'm gonna talk a little bit about books. So I'm gonna talk about this. And this one is the one that I kind of mentioned in my I think I mentioned it in my March wrap up, and I also mentioned I hadn't talked thoroughly about it yet. So here I am talking about this one. So this is the last one I read in March, so it's been a while. But I didn't just want to make a video talking about only this one, so I waited until I had finished this one. And then I had to wait a couple of days more to have the time. So yeah, so it's been like a week or a bit more since I finished this one. This is Number One Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. It's a book from 2005, so it's 20 years old now, and it's been on my want to read list, I think, ever since then. I used to be a part of a book club with my dad and his friends, and I remember some people maybe read this, and it's a series, so I was curious about it, but I wasn't like, you know, I want to dive into it right now. So this is about a woman called, I think it's Mama Ramotswe, I think all the women in Botswana is called Mama MMA, because I thought it was Madam first, but at one point someone's calling her Madam MMA Ramotswe, and it's only shortenings. No one ever says the word isn't written out completely anywhere. So anyway, we can call her Mama Ramotswe, or we can call her Precious Ramotswe, because that's her full name. So in this book we follow her from childhood. So in the beginning of the book we learn about her dad and how much he wanted her to have a business of her own to support her when he passed away. So we start off the book by getting to know him and his life story, quite short, but it's enough, and it's so funny. I don't know if the English book is the same, because I read the Swedish one, but it's like, you know how some people just use so many words and they get so little said? No authors mentioned yet. But this one is like the opposite. It's a short book, but I feel like I followed her through her entire life, and I feel like I know her dad from his birth and onwards. The author managed to say so much without it being over. I was a bit overloaded at the beginning. I was like, oh my god, is this gonna continue? And when I had read like 50 pages, I was like, am I only 50 pages in? Because it felt like 150. So it's a short book, but it felt long. But towards the end of it, I felt it was like that in a good way. So I think I ended up giving this 3.5 stars, or maybe a 4-star, something like that. So I do want to continue this series. So in this series, we follow Mama Ramotswe, or Precious Ramotswe. So when her dad passes away, quite early in the book, she inherits his business, and the lawyer sells his business so that she can buy any business she wants, and she wants to buy a detective agency, or start a detective agency. So we follow her through maybe her, I don't know how long, like time-wise, maybe her first year or something like that. It feels like a year, I don't know. But we also, I think it's longer, because I think we only get snippets. So from the time that she starts her detective agency, we follow her. At first we follow her quite intently, like intensely in the beginning, when she starts everything up. But then as she gets going, I think we only get snippets, because there are like information drops sometimes where she's very well known by now, and everybody knows her name, and she meets people that knows her name, and which tells me that the 3 cases I read about so far isn't everything she's done. So I think I think the time is kind of warped in this one, but in a good way, yeah. So I ended up really enjoying this, and I want to continue the series. I might pick it up, because these books in this series are popular at thrift stores here in Sweden. I think I've seen the next one, which has some, I think the name is something of a giraffe or something like that. So I think I will be able to pick it up. This only cost me €1 if you translate Swedish crowns into euros. So €1 this cost me, yeah, €1. So yeah, I liked it. As I said, it's a mystery. It's not a murder mystery. There are almost no deaths, almost, but it's very interesting, and it paints a very not big, but very wonderful picture about Botswana in the second half of the 20th century, because 20th century is like 1900s, right? So from like 1950 up until 1990, 2000, somewhere along that line, we follow like first her dad and then her. So it's a really interesting story, and it paints a really wonderful picture about Botswana. I feel like I was there. And for an author to spend so little words, so few words, to say so much and still make me feel like I'm present in the environment in the book, that's not a small feat at all. So yeah, I like this one, and I do recommend it for anyone who wants to, like, it's almost like a cozy book, I would say. So anyone is interested in Africa, in Botswana, and would like mysteries that are, there's like cases in the book, and they are not like one chapter is one case, and it's yeah, it's, if that sounds interesting, I recommend it. Okay, so then the first book I read in April was this one, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and this is a new favorite, you guys. I wanna snuggle with it. I wanna keep it under my pillow. I want to just read bits and pieces of it when I feel sad or when I feel happy, or when I adored this book. And it's so funny because when I discussed it on Fable, I shared that I enjoyed it, and someone said, well, someone said that they didn't. It was like too slow, and nothing ever happened. And I was like, well, that's so. But what's what I love about it? Because this author, or this book, I was a Trekkie. Okay, I grew up a Trekkie. My dad's a Trekkie. I'm a Trekkie. So for anyone who isn't familiar with the language, I watched a lot of Star Trek. So like, this was very homey to me, to just, because in this book we follow the crew on the Wayfearer. So like, I loved the book because they have like this project, or this job that lasts almost the entire book. And on the way we get to see them form connections with a new crew member, and just live their everyday life with everything that entails with relationships, and they get to, you know, pop off to that planet over there, and then pop off to that planet over there, and then they have to fix this, and then so there's a lot of twists and turns, but they are not major. They're just, you know, they're gonna pull through, you know. So except for the twist at the end. I'm just giving you a heads up. There's a twist at the end where I almost choked, and I cried, and then I laughed, and then I just felt so much towards the end, and that's when it solidified to me as a 5-star read. But yeah, I just adore this. So we follow the crew on the Wayfarer. They have this long haul, so it's a tunneling ship. They make like wormholes. So as there's something called the GC. I didn't really pick up what that stood for. Something common. So it's like this organization where a lot of the humans are a part of it, and then the Oleans, and then the Grums, and then different sapient that's a word, sapient species are a part of this organization, and it's like an allyship or a sort. I have forgotten the correct word, but so that is it, everyone is a part of that, and so in this book there's a new sapient species getting voted into this group, but they don't have a clear path to their part of the galaxy. They have ways to sneak through space quickly, or sneak through the sub-layer, they call it, of space, to get to places quickly, but it only works with like small ships and with one person at a time. So the tunneling ship's job is to take like the longest route to this place and then to these places, and then make tunnels that will last, so that you can just kind of tunnel commute better from different places in the universe. So that's kind of the job. So we follow them along that, and they have a lot of small jobs, and then they have this big one that is most of the book, which is also connected to the title of the book. We follow the crew with the Captain Ashby and the mechanical technicians, Jinx and Kissy, and then there's Sissy. She's the one that drives the ship, and then we have what's his name? I forgot his name, but we have a navigator, and we have someone that's called Dr. Chef. He's both the doctor and the chef, and his name is way too weird for anyone to pronounce. It isn't even mentioned, because, well, it is kind of mentioned, but and they are like 3 humans, and the rest of them are other species. So in the beginning of the book, there's a new crew member coming along, which is called Rosemary. She's also human. She has quite a difficult background, which is she's nervous for the crew to find out. And she's a clerk, so she's there to do all the administrative work for Ashby, the captain, because he will get jobs for them more easily if they have a clerk. So that's why she's there. And we follow how she is integrated into the crew, and she's kind of the main character at the beginning of the book. And then they are all the main character. So, and the ship is called the Wayfearer. So it's just a lovely book. I want to say a lot, but I don't want to say anything, because I really think if you like a cozy sci-fi, this is for you. If you want, this is a space opera, I think it's called. But if you want something where there are a lot of fighting and there's a lot happening and it's fast paced, no, this isn't for you. I think it's like a hit or miss for people. So this was a hit for me, and I can't wait to read the rest of the 4. So there's 3 more books in this series, and then there's a novella somewhere along the line. I'm gonna read them all at some point. So yeah, and this is going back to the library today. No, it's not. I have some journaling with it to do first, so it's not going back to the library today. Oops. But when I do return it, I'm gonna tell them that this is what it looked like when I got it, because it was. So thank you for watching, and in this video I just want to end with that the next video is going to be a video about my TBR game that I have concocted for myself. It's a wonderful little game. It's just like an amateuric little game that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna use that game to pick my books, hopefully from my TBR, during April. And in the first video you're gonna see where I talk about the game. I also picked my first 2 reads after this one. So the book that I'm reading right now is one that I picked when I filmed that video. So that's what it's gonna be. So next time when I talk about those 2 books, I'm gonna bring out the game again and pick my next read. So it's gonna be fun. It's just something that I'm experimenting with, just trying and seeing how I like it, and if it will go somewhere, or if it's just something that I wanna experiment with right now and never look back on. Who knows? But so far so good. So far it's been fun. So I will see you in my next video, and happy reading everyone. Tjingeling!